we have to really dive down into what does it mean to change. Let's take it off of narcissism for a bit, right? Let's just talk about change in general for anybody, for someone who does not have narcissistic personality disorder. Just change. Who here has stuck with their New Year's resolution, right? How many times have people with no personality disorder, right, tried to stick to a diet, workout routine, tried to quit smoking, tried to quit drinking, tried to stop drinking as much coffee, right? Even something as simple as that with no personality disorder. How difficult is change? Now you add on to this, right? What are we talking about when someone has narcissistic personality disorder? Someone who has a sense of entitlement. Someone who thinks that not literally like there's nothing wrong with me, there's something wrong with the world. Someone who lacks empathy, right? That's one of the key factors. Lacks empathy. They don't take responsibility for their own actions, right? I want to bring a lot of emphasis to lacks empathy because I don't even care how my behavior impacts other people. Why should I change? Right? So we add all those factors onto it's already difficult to change. So then when we actually look at the fact that it's hard to change, the personality disorder doesn't cater to change anyway, and they don't care about change, we also add on to the fact of all of this. They don't want to. Why don't they want to? Because in their mind, the things that I'm doing works for me. I have all power and all control in this relationship. Why would I give it up? Right? I already lack empathy. Why would I want to give this person more power, more control that I like and makes me feel good about myself? One of the things that you have to understand about a narcissist, people think and they assume that the narcissist, because they say they don't want to argue, that's what's actually true. Narcissists thrive in chaos. They love it. The fights that you are trying to end, they enjoy. This is the reason why the gaslighting, right? Why the fights last for hours, days, sometimes months. The devaluation, right? Especially for people who go through where sex is being withheld or physical affection is being withheld, emotional affection is being withheld. Sometimes can last for months, sometimes years. They like it. They enjoy it. This is a big part of the problem, where you have a lot of people who, you have the codependent who's working extremely hard to get it back to the love bomb phase. You're thinking this was when the relationship was good. The narcissist couldn't stand it. The only reason why the love bomb phase even exists is that nobody, literally nobody, not even the most codependent person in the world, would be with someone who treats people like that if they treated you like that from the beginning. The love bomb was manipulation. You're trying to get it back there. The narcissist didn't like it to begin with. The narcissist from the beginning wanted to get this to the devaluation phase. They enjoy the arguing. They enjoy the abuse. They like it. That's how they thrive. They feel better about themselves when they do it. The worse you get, the better they feel. But the problem is that they're going to continue to do this until you are wiped out, right? And that's when the discard is going to happen. It's a very upside down world. I tell people it's an upside down world, that you think that the good part of the relationship was the good dates, the great sex, all of that. Not to the narcissist, right? To them, the arguing, the fighting, right? I saw a couple of Lee Hammock's videos. We're going back a couple of months ago. One of the things that he said in his videos that he liked having sex after arguing better. I mean, I know it's very common for people to say things like, having makeup sex, things like that is great. But from the angle that he was talking about, right, was very different, right? And if you guys don't know Lee Hammock, he's a self-aware narcissist, right? So then I also want to talk about more with this whole change thing, because a lot of times people say, just get into therapy, just get into therapy. It has the possibility to make things worse. 100%. Number one, if you're with a covert narcissist, they look at therapy, church, things like that as a way to repair their mask a bit. Like, oh, they see that this part of me, right, is showing through to the public. So let me cover this mask up a little bit better. The other thing that we have to talk about is that when a narcissist goes to therapy, right? And even if it does come up, even if the therapist recognizes it and they convince the person that they are a narcissist, there's no medication and there's no, you can't be healed from it. Well, guess what? It doesn't necessarily mean that the narcissist is going to say like, oh, okay, well, let me start being more mindful and more intentional about treating people better. They could turn it to, well, there's no treatment, there's no medication, you're just stuck with this. Now they use it as an excuse for all the bad behavior, because the bad behavior is what they want to do anyway. Because like I said earlier, that's the part that they enjoy. Also, lastly, when we talk about change, just because even if a narcissist does change and we get through all of that, right, the personality disorder, the difficulty in changing anyway, right, with no personality disorder, what is change really? They could change 1%. That's change, right? Does that mean that you're going to be treated better? Does that mean that the relationship is going to be more fulfilling? Does that mean that they're not going to continue to make threats and wipe out the bank account and those sorts of things? Not necessarily, right? So we have to be careful of what we're asking, right? And we have to be very mindful of that. It's number one, it's just difficult anyway. Number two, the narcissist doesn't want to change at all anyway. They enjoy what they're doing, right? But also, what is change really? Right? Are we asking them to completely, because when we're talking about someone changing, oftentimes we have a preconceived notion of what that change looks like. That may not equal what they're thinking, right? When you ask someone to stop drinking, right? When they struggle with alcoholism or struggle with another addiction, and you ask them to change, you might be thinking they need to live a sober life. They might be thinking, well, I cut down from 10 beers, every hour to 4. That's change too, right? So we have to understand what it is that we're actually asking.